back to another episode of Tech Check, where we continue to unpack and unfold all of the interesting occurrences that are happening in the Pakistan tech startup ecosystem. And today, very fortunate to have with us Mahnoor Farishta from a new startup that I just discovered, Khair. Mahnoor, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Likewise, we're happy to hear about your story. And as you've seen with Tech Check, we tend to jump right in. So please, first, tell us a little about you and tell us a little bit about Khair.
So I grew up in Karachi in Pakistan. I lived here till I was 16, and then I spent my teenage years, university and early working life in London. So then I worked at Deloitte in consulting, and in 2018, I randomly decided to move back to Pakistan. It wasn't really planned. I think my parents kind of tricked me into coming back. And then I got here, and then I don't know how I found myself working in healthcare for a telemedicine company, and I found it really interesting. Mind you, I have no healthcare background experience whatsoever. I don't know if that's an advantage or a disadvantage. But somehow I ended up working in healthcare. And what I found most fascinating was women's healthcare in Pakistan.
Right.
How the problems, the more I worked in the field, the more I realized the problems with women's healthcare when it comes to affordability, when it comes to access, and when it comes to awareness. Women suffer more than men. And when it comes to the provision of healthcare, women's healthcare is completely ignored. And for me, one of the biggest issues that I found was we did surveys and research to find that over 58% of women in Pakistan are not even active decision makers in their own healthcare decisions.
Interesting.
So yeah, interesting and sad. It ends up what ends up happening is, what ends up really happening is because there's a lack of awareness, and then there's delayed decision making on the family level. It leads to chronic diseases, illnesses becoming way worse for women when they actually access hospitals and healthcare facilities.
Right.
So when I started working in health tech in Pakistan and telemedicine, I realized the problems. And then COVID happened. Honestly, I was working in this company for 2 years. COVID happened. I've stopped working there. And I was sitting at home one day and I said, okay, fine. My household, the woman who works in my house, she needed ration support. So I started this campaign called Corona Ration Project that went viral. And we started receiving a lot of donations from across the world to help lower income and daily wage workers with ration relief during COVID. And that I kind of combined with my now healthcare experience. And I started providing health awareness, COVID awareness, and awareness on feminine hygiene and preventive health to women. And that kind of began the journey of Khair, because I started realizing that there's a big problem with awareness in Pakistan. If women were more aware, then preventive diseases could be avoided. Diseases could literally be prevented. And we could work on primary care just through awareness. And then I started working on Khair and started realizing that everyone has a phone. Everyone needs health awareness. I started a health blog during COVID that picked up, and predominantly from women. And then we started working on an application, which is Khair today. So I've had a long journey, lots of trial and errors like every founder has had, what works, what doesn't work. But somehow or the other, I always found myself focusing on women's healthcare and a tech solution for it. So here's Khair. Khair is an all-in-one solution to women's healthcare. We're Pakistan's first period and pregnancy tracker, and the first period and pregnancy tracker, or first femtech company to come out of a lot of the Asian countries. So there's very few in the world. We're one of the few now that have entered from Asia, especially from Pakistan, which is quite exciting. And not only do we have a period and pregnancy tracker, but we enable women to provide these women with easy access to doctors and testing, and we empower them through health awareness and education. Simultaneously, buying a pad in Pakistan is really annoying as a woman. It's difficult. There's a lot of shame associated, taboos associated. So our period and pregnancy tracker combines an e-commerce platform which provides you with subscription-based menstrual hygiene products delivered to your doorstep every month, linked to your period date. So our main focus with Khair really is increase health awareness, particularly around reproductive health, particularly about menstruation and feminine hygiene, because a lot of 80% of childbirth deaths in Pakistan are due to direct complications. So that's something that there's a big ecosystem. Pakistan is one of the most deadly countries in the world to bear a child. So our focus is menstruation, reproductive health, increase awareness about it, but also provide access to the products that we find difficult to have in this country. And what I'm really trying to achieve with Khair today is Pakistan, period poverty is a big problem. Period poverty, if anyone asks me, and it's a very simple term, but people ask me a lot what period poverty really means. It means you are more poor. You lack access to education and healthcare and development because of your period. And that means in this country, what that means is when girls reach an age of puberty, a lot of girls in rural areas drop out of school. More than that, in Pakistan, there are 30 million women who do not have access to menstrual hygiene products. So our focus really is with Khair is to increase awareness of women's health problems, provide easy access to doctors and testing, and provide women with easy access to pads. And for every 6 packets of pads you buy through Khair, we donate 2 packets of pads to girls from lower income backgrounds who cannot afford them and therefore drop out of school or miss school and work as a result. So that's Khair in a nutshell for you. Yeah,
that's fascinating. I mean, you're uncovering something that's hugely impactful, but unfortunately, as you rightly said, it's something so taboo. It's just not something that's discussed, and there's a lot of. And there shouldn't be. We're human, and this is a human function. So that leads me. I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent here because I'm really curious about, and I admire what you're doing. I think that's really, really impactful. How are you cracking some of that taboo? Well, what are you finding right around that? Because that seems to be a huge challenge in and of itself.
It is a challenge. So a lot of things. One is, there's always going to be a challenge and there's always going to be a backlash. But when we went to the market, when we launched, we received overwhelming support from women and men. Because like you said, it's not something that we talk about. And the problem is that in Pakistan, you know this, and I'm sure you have daughters and you realize this as well. When we're younger, from a very young age, especially in the previous generation, you were always told, period pain hai, to sabr karo, bardasht karo. Like suffer in silence, like don't talk about it. Don't talk about period pain. What ends up happening then is if you don't talk about things, they're not solved for. Like, for example, why I always say you need women to be founders of companies because there's half the world's population, the problems to solve for, men don't think about, right? The same concept applies. If we don't talk about it, it's not going to be something that we can actually actively work towards. And why I say talking about is so important is because diseases like polycystic ovary syndrome and endometriosis are all linked to excessive period pain. They can all, if your period and pregnancy tracker can tell you what your issues are, if there are any irregularities, tech helps, right? But what really makes a difference is once you have the awareness that I'm having excessive period pain and it's not normal, because our app will tell you if you're having excessive period pain on repeat or your periods are irregular, please speak to a gynecologist. Please get your ultrasound done. Because we don't talk about things like periods, women suffer for years and years, and they find out through childbirth complications that this is linked to their ovaries or this is linked to their endometriosis, and it's very common. Pakistan has, I think, 1 in every 10 women has PCOS. If you look at it deep down further, it's 1 in every 5 women. And when they suffer from PCOS, they have severe symptoms of it as well, right? So my issue is, one is the taboo. It's very important to speak about. And how we're overcoming these taboos is honestly through awareness. So we do health awareness through our digital platforms. We go to schools, communities, factories, offices, workplaces, and talk about periods. We want for some reason, saying the word period out loud there's such a stigma around it. And we're trying to dispel that, right? We're trying to talk about it, just say the word period. It's a very normal biological phenomenon. But the sad part is because it's a women's health topic.
Understood.
Yeah.
It's a great mission. I realize you're really, and there's a downstream impact also that women being more aware and adept with their bodies also leads to more control and healthier pregnancy. So I think this is really great. Look, Mahnoor, this is a superb mission that you're chasing, and I've become a big fan instantly because I really didn't understand fully what you were doing. And as you know, our audience, we try to keep these a little shorter and tighter. I'm going to take you to my last question. I think this is where I would be really clear. How can people in the diaspora help? Because, here in North America and outside of Pakistan, there's probably a little more understanding and awareness of these issues. So what are those immediate asks?
So one is like every other startup that's just come to market, we are raising capital. So anyone listening, interested in this mission, I really want to put it out there that a lot of stigma usually associated with women's health or women's organizations that are run by women for women. People ask me all the time, are you a charity? Are you a CSR company? No, I really want to say that this is a profitable, sustainable business model with revenue streams and also a great opportunity to invest. And female entrepreneurs are very frugal when they're with their work, and they're very diligent. We have a lot to prove to everybody. So from a funding perspective, I'm looking for people who are interested to help women in Pakistan and women across the region and focus on an actual problem that exists in this country and in the region. I think that would be really important. From one side is the money, funding. I would love to talk to anybody interested or working within the femtech space in the US or Europe. And number two, that same thing I'm coming to now is advisors and people working within femtech, LPs or VCs, women oriented, who want to focus on topics and want to focus on issues that are not usually spoken about or even worked on. That would be great. It's connecting with the right people. If this platform can help us do that, that would be phenomenal. And also, money always helps. That would be great. We're looking for funding right now. We have just opened our first round of external funding. So if anyone is interested, you can email me or message me on LinkedIn. I can send you more information.
Excellent. Mahnoor, look, we've unfortunately come to the end of our time, but I think this was great. You're uncovering a very distinct challenge in Pakistan, and I know you have plenty of challenges just because of some of the cultural norms that we have to deal with. So first of all, I want to wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
And secondly, I want to thank you very much for coming on the show. We really appreciate having you.
Thank you so much.
And to our audience, as you can see, hey, there's lots of different ways to use technology to improve and drive change within our environments. And this is another living proof. So I ask all of you, please like, share, subscribe to the platform and continue to send us your suggestions on good people to have on the show. And I bid you all Allah Hafiz.
Hafiz.